Mantras given by our Lord to be addressed to the Divine Mother. In the night as in the day, be always with me, sweet Mother. In sleep as in waking, let me feel in me always the reality of your presence. Let it sustain and make to grow in me truth, consciousness, and bliss constantly and at all times. With always our love and blessings, says our Lord, Sri Aurobindo. Words of our Divine Mother, taken from the collective works of our Divine Mother, volume 13, page 111. Our Divine Mother says, it is not from disgust for life and people that one must come to yoga. It is not to run away from difficulties that one must come here. It is not even to find the sweetness of love and protection, for the Divine's love and protection can be enjoyed everywhere if one takes the right attitude. Our Divine Mother says, when one wants to give oneself totally in service to the Divine, to consecrate oneself totally to the Divine's work, simply for the joy of giving oneself and of serving without asking for anything in exchange except the possibility of consecration and service, then one is ready to come here and will find the doors wide open. Our Divine Mother says, I give you the blessings given to all my children wherever they are in the world and tell you, prepare yourself, my help is always with you. You say that you wish to lead the spiritual life, but for that, you should understand that the first point is to overcome all the lower moments, all the attractions, attachments, for all these are absolutely contrary to the spiritual life. The spiritual life demands that one is exclusively turned towards the Divine and the Divine alone. All that one does should be done for the Divine. All occupations, all aspirations, all without exception, should be directed towards the Divine with a complete surrender of the whole being. I know that this cannot be done in a day, but the decision that it may be so should be taken in an unshakable manner. It is only on this condition that I can accept you for the spiritual life. Our Divine Mother says, by definition, the ashramite has resolved to consecrate his life to realize and serve the Divine. For this, the four virtues are indispensable, without which progress is uncertain and subject to interruptions and trouble. Some falls at the first opportunity. Sincerity, faithfulness, modesty, and gratitude. Question, sweet mother, what qualities are necessary for one to be called a true child of the Divine Mother? For this, our Divine Mother says, sincerity, courage, discipline, endurance, absolute faith in the Divine Word, and unassailable trust in the Divine grace. All this must be accompanied by a sustained, ardent, and persevering aspiration and by limitless patience. The ashram, says our Divine Mother, is meant for those who want to consecrate their lives to the Divine. Two disciplines are indispensable conditions to live as a disciple in the ashram. First, to be resolved to make the needs of the soul come before all others and to satisfy the other needs to those of the body, that those of the body, vital and mind, only so far as they do not interfere with the fulfillment of the needs of the soul. To be convinced that I am in a position to know the needs of the soul of each and every one, and that therefore I have the right and the competence to judge in their respect. Our Divine Mother says one loses most of the advantage of being here if one is not convinced that I can foresee better the consequences and results of things and actions. Next subtopic, comfort and happiness, taken from page 126. Our Divine Mother says, each one carries his capacity of happiness in himself, but I am convinced that those who cannot be happy here can be happy nowhere. People must be happy when they are here, otherwise, they cannot have the full advantage of the exceptional opportunity. I am always happy to receive and help those who wish to have harmony and conciliation and are ready to correct their mistakes and progress. But I can be of no help to those who throw all the blame on the others, for they are inapt to see the truth and act accordingly. But it goes without saying that those who are here are ready to face some difficulties in order to remain here will always be welcome. Our Divine Mother says, you have answered the trustful welcome given to you by an arrogant and unapprehending attitude, judging everything from the viewpoint of an ignorant, presumptuous morality which could have alienated from you the sympathy so spontaneously extended to you as to all those who come here in quest of spiritual life. But in order to profit by one's stay here, a minimum of mental humility, generosity of soul is indispensable. Our Divine Mother says, people who feel miserable here and find that they have not the comfort they require ought not to stay. We are not in a position to do more than what we do. And after all, our aim is not to give people a comfortable life, but to prepare them for a divine life, which is quite a different affair. Our Divine Mother says the reason for people to come and settle here is surely not to find comfort and luxury. This can be found anywhere if one is lucky enough. But what one can get that is not got in at any other place is the divine love, grace, and care. It is when this is forgotten or disregarded that people begin to feel miserable. Indeed, whenever somebody feels unhappy and discontented, it can be taken as a sure sign that he is turning his back on what the divine is always giving and that he has gone astray in pursuit of the worldly satisfaction. Our Divine Mother says, in spite of what the ignorant men believe, It is the inner vibrations that are responsible for the exterior events. Most of the people who live in the ashram forget too easily that they are not here to live a quiet and a pleasant life but to do sadhana. And for doing sadhana, a certain control upon one's inner moments is indispensable. It is only those who have come for sadhana and really do sadhana who can be happy and satisfied here. The others have constant trouble because their desires are not satisfied. Our Divine Mother says, if you were not happy here, you must come with the will to do the yoga of self perfection. For if you do not come for that, you will be shocked at every moment by things that are contrary to your habits and the principles of ordinary life. It will not be possible for you to stay here because these things are necessary for the work and organization here cannot be changed. We are not here to make our life easy and comfortable. We are here to find the divine, to become the divine, to manifest the divine. What happens to us is the divine's business. It is not our concern. The divine knows better than what we do, what is good for the progress of the world and for ourselves. Here, sensibleness is indispensable, and integral yoga is based on balance, calm, and peace, not on an unhealthy need to suffer. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says that the physical was to be taken into yoga, not rejected or neglected. And almost all here thought that they were doing yoga in the physical and fell a prey to the physical needs and desires. To speak frankly, I like better that mistake than that of the so called ascetics who are full of contempt, bad will, and scornful feeling for others. No time to say all that could be said on the subject, says our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says in page 132, you can be sure of our help and our love and blessings will always be with you.
Only thy peace, thy freedom, and thy unity that can triumph over the blind violence and the hypocrisy and falsehood that still reign upon earth. Seigneur, c'est ta paix que nous voulons, pas un simulacre de paix. C'est ta liberté que nous voulons, pas un simulacre de liberté. C'est ton unité que nous voulons, pas un simulacre d'unité. Car seule ta paix, ta liberté, ton unité peuvent triompher de la violence aveugle et du mensonge hypocrite qui règne encore sur la terre.
वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तमादित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् तमेव विदित्वा यतिमृत्युमेति नान्यः पन्था विद्यते अयनाय। ॐ प्रजापतिश्चरति गर्भे अन्तर्जायमानो बहुधा विजायते। ॐ तस्य योनिं परिपश्यन्ति धीरास्तस्मिन्नः तस्थूर्भुवनानि विश्वा तस्थूर्भुवनानि भुवनानि विश्वा
या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिवीरदेवे सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु मीरा भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा
ॐ सर्वगणे सर्ववरदे सर्वदुष्टभयङ्करी सर्वदुःखहरे देवी महामीरा नमोऽस्तु ते
सिद्धिबुद्धिप्रदे देवी भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदायिनी मन्त्रमूर्ते सदा देवी महामीरा नमोऽस्तु ते
आद्यन्तरहिते देवी आद्यशक्ते महेश्वरी योगदे योगसम्भुते महामीरा नमोऽस्तु ते महामीरा नमोऽस्तु ते
Our Divine Mother says, you are quite conscious of the aspiration and the aim of your soul. You are quite conscious of what your soul wants you and expects you to become. It is only some consequences of this present physical formation that stand in the way, and now it is only a steady and patient working out of these impediments that can solve the difficulty. From the yoga point of view, any taking leave would be a kind of giving way to the obstinacy of the resistance. This is, for me, it's quite clear. But are you quite sure that there is not the remembrance of an attachment lurking in some corner of the mind which makes you answer unknowingly to the insistence of a pressure coming from outside? It is obvious that your inner being is not very strong and does not have the power to counteract the pernicious influence of an environment full of sterile doubts, defeatist pessimism, egoism, and unfaithfulness. Our Divine Mother says, our path is not easy. It demands great courage, untiring endurance. One must work hard and make a great effort with quiet stability to obtain results which at times are scarcely perceptible outwardly. There are many human beings who need to roll in mire in order to feel the necessity to cleanse themselves. If the desire is too persistent for you to have the strength to overcome it, ask the people you know to find you a post and go and face the ordinary life until you know the true value of life and what you have left. You must have heroism to be a precursor, for generally men have faith only in what is already accomplished and evident, visible, and recognized even for the most skeptical. Our Divine Mother says, I appreciate your feelings about what a sadhak ought to be, and from that point of view, what you say is quite true. The ashram is not exclusively composed of sadhaks. It is a reduced image of life where those who practice yoga are a minority. And if I were to keep here only those who are quite sincere in the sadhana, very few indeed would remain. Sri Aurobindo always reminds us of the fact that the divine is everywhere and in everything, and asks us to practice a true compassion as is so beautifully expressed in the aphorism which I just came commenting upon. Examine thyself without pity, then thou wilt be more charitable and pitiful to others. So I must ask you once more to be in peace, to trust in the divine's grace and wisdom. The proximity of the heart and feelings is much stronger and truer than the proximity of the bodies. Love truly your mother, and without sorrow or suffering, you will let her go. Our Divine Mother says, certainly we are your true parents. Your true duty is towards the divine. Let the ignorant say according to their ignorance, and keep in you the light, knowledge, and peace of the divine consciousness. Our Divine Mother says, a good advice to all the ashramites in dealing with visitors and foreigners. When you have nothing pleasant to say about something or somebody in the ashram, keep silent. You must know that this silence is faithfulness to the divine's word. Question, sweet mother, how to prepare ourselves for the darshan? For this, our Divine Mother says, by communion with the psychic being, the incarnate divine, deep within us, an intense aspiration, a perfect concentration, a constant dedication. Our Divine Mother says in page 164, in human life, the cause of all difficulties, all discords, all moral sufferings is the presence in everyone of the ego with its desires, its likes and dislikes. Even in a disinterested work which consists in helping others, until one has learned to overcome the ego and its demands, until one can force it to keep calm and quiet in one corner, the ego reacts to everything that displeases it, starts an inner storm that rises to the surface and spoils all the work. This work of overcoming the ego is long, slow, and difficult, demands constant alertness and sustained effort. This effort is easier for some and more difficult for others. In the ashram, to do this work together with the help of Sri Aurobindo's knowledge and force in an attempt to realize a community that is more harmonious, united, and consequently much more effective in life. Our Divine Mother says, as long as I was physically present amongst you all, my presence was helping you achieve this mastery over the ego, so it was not necessary for me to speak about it individually quite often. But now this effort must become the basis of each individual's existence, more especially for those of you who have a common responsible position and to have to take care of others. The leaders always must set the example, practice the virtues they demand from those who are in their care. They must be understanding, patience, enduring, full of sympathy, and warm and friendly goodwill, not out of egoism to win friends for themselves, but out of generosity to be able to understand and help others, to forget oneself, One's own likings and preferences is indispensable in order to be a true leader. This is what I was asking of you now, that you can face your responsibilities as you should. And then you will find that where you used to feel the disorder, disunity, they have vanished, and harmony and peace and joy have taken their place. I know that I love you. You know that I love you and that I am always with you. You know that I love you and that I am always with you to sustain you, help you, and show you the way. You seem to forget that by the fact that you're living in the ashram, it is neither for yourself nor for a boss that you're working, but for the divine. Your life must be entirely consecrated to the divine work and cannot be governed by petty human considerations. Whatever is done here must be done in a spirit of complete collaboration with one single aim in view, the service of the divine. Our Divine Mother says the duty of each one is to prepare oneself for that as completely as one can.